What's up YouTube? Got a Karambit for review today. It's a Undercover United Cutlery one, I think it's called Undercover. Made by United Cutlery. Really mean looking things, Karambits. When I saw them, it's almost the same as the M48 Tomahawk. It's one of them things I looked at it and then just had to buy it, sort of thing. Again, there's builders downstairs if you can hear that, so you have to excuse that. But yeah, let's get on to reviewing this. Now, it comes with a pretty cheap plastic sheath. I say cheap because it is very flimsy, as you can see. There's not much to it. Also, you need to be careful of this if you do purchase one of these. If you put this knife in too fast or quite aggressively, as you can see here, the sheath is it's just too half, so that can open up. That is actually the knife in there. So you need to be careful that it doesn't come through, because obviously it's got a very sharp point. It might come through here. I have had it not come through, but I've had it open it up pretty wide before, so you need to be careful of that. Now it has got a lot of holes and places where you can put straps through and stuff like that, which is good, so you can put it in all sorts of positions. It's also got a little thing you can thread like a belt through there, and you could just put it on your waistline like that if you wanted to. I wouldn't really recommend that, because unless you're going to fasten the sheath down with something that isn't really, you know what I mean, you're not going to be able to, the Karambit's quite in there, do you know what I mean, and because it curves around, you can't just pull it out. It takes quite a bit of force, so if you put that on your waistline for some reason, that isn't really going to come out. I would not recommend under any circumstances that you carry this around anywhere in public, because, you know, whereas I just done a review on this, you could probably get away with having that as long as it's not on display. And if you said, like, if you had a good reason, obviously you can carry any sort of knife as long as you've got good reason for it. So obviously you can't really walk down the street with that strapped to your belt, but you could if you were found in the woods with it. It's completely fine. But this is, you know, the practicality of this is questionable, unless you're cutting, you know, wheat or maybe stinging nettles is a better example. If you're cutting stinging nettles with it, then maybe you can you know, get away with it in your front garden. Obviously on your property is fine, I mean, sorry, but I would not recommend carrying this even to the woods. I think this is a risky thing to carry. Yeah, just because of what it looks like, and there's no real, you know, practicality of it. But yeah, let's have a little look. See, it's annoying that things like this are legal and then butterfly knives are illegal. Sorry, because butterfly knives, you know, there's much more of a practicality to a butterfly knife, and it takes skill to open them. Anyone can pull this out, and you know, it's ready to use straight away. But that's a whole different topic anyway. Yeah, so it's made by United Cutlery. It's just one piece of steel. I can't remember. I think it's the same type of steel. Yeah, it says on here UC1466B stainless steel. Now I think that's the same type of steel as the M48 Tomahawk. Obviously it's made by the same people, so that would make sense. Real nice looking. It does say double-sided, but it is only one-sided, which is obviously that side. It's just sharpened. You could sharpen it up though. I mean, the bevel they put on it is definitely sharpenable. Real nice, fits in the hand, real nice. You know, this is why I say stinging nettles. You could probably get away, because I think it's a South American tool, and it comes from your cutting wheat or sugarcane. Not sugarcane, I don't think, actually. I think it is wheat. You know, they just quickly get down there in it and just cut it. But yeah, you can obviously hold it reverse grip as well. I think that one would be much more you know, practical in any situation where you'd have to use this. I've got this bit of thing here, real quick. I'm not sure if this is going to be too good. Let me just stand this camera up a bit. But yeah, really sharp. This did come razor sharp. This is with no pressure at all. Obviously I've dug it in a little bit, but you know, and then you put a bit of pressure on them. Do you know what I mean? That's real sharp. Reverse grip. I keep looking at the camera when I'm cutting, which is really going to hurt me one day. Ooh. This isn't the best surface to be doing this on. I will test this on some fruit or something one day, because you've really got to see this in action. There are videos on YouTube of this cutting test with this. I don't know, that's no effort whatsoever. Basically, I'm literally may as well just be swinging it like that. Yeah, that's gone straight through as well. Such a mean point on that. That is really, really sharp. You know, it didn't take much to go through at all. I'm literally just no pressure on that at all. But yeah, it's got little things for grit. Oh, that reminds me, actually, these come pretty dirty. As you can see, that wasn't me that's made that dirty. It just comes dirty, which I thought was a bit weird. You might be able to see this a bit better if I get it to focus. But yeah, real nice. It fits in my hand pretty nicely that way. Even better this way. The only thing I will say is because these holes are a little bit too big for my fingers. If I was to hit anything with force, then it's gonna, you know, I'm gonna feel it on my fingers. This one up here is not too bad. There's not much of a gap there, but with the little one down here, most karambits don't actually have a secondary hole. They just have the first one, so you'd be holding it like that, and then the blade would start like here. But this one has actually got a two-handed one, so it is, you know, I think it does depend on hand size. I could probably, if I had bigger hands, that'd probably fit in there a bit better. But yeah, real nice looking. I'd recommend this if you want a karambit, to be honest, because it's not a foldable one. I don't really think the foldable ones are all that great. Mainly because if you hit anything with force with it, I guess you've got that risk of it breaking. Not if you buy an expensive one. I mean, Cold Steel have made one, which is a foldable one, called like a Tiger Claw or something like that, and I'm guessing that's obviously made well, but there are a lot of cheap folding ones, and I wouldn't recommend buying one of them. I think it's much better to have just a solid piece of metal. But yeah, real nice. Very mean looking. Very sharp, so be very careful with this when you get it.